Let's get out to the Yingling guest hotline and say hi to Jason Mckie. He'll be on the sidelines in Cincinnati this weekend, as he always is, with our network broadcast team, Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer, and Jason Mckie right here on your home for Bears football. J-Mac, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. What was your biggest takeaway from where you sit and where you stand watching that game in Baltimore on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, just self-inflicted mistakes, something that I think, we all saw watching the game, and especially in critical situations, an offense that has been stagnant when approaching the red zone. And, you're not going to be a playoff caliber team. You're not going to have a chance to win your division when you continuously have self-inflicted mistakes. And it wasn't just young guys, it was older guys as well. So it's we've heard Coach Johnson all week this week during his press conference saying it's on the players. And it truly is. Elite teams are player-led, and these guys got to take ownership of their mistakes, pre-snap penalties, and stuff like that. And those are things you can control. And they will not be a consistently good team until they handle those type of things.
Yeah, you summed it up. You look at 16 points and you think, boy, the offense really struggled. But it actually did a lot of really good things. It just killed itself with some silliness, whether it's not going out of bounds or intentional grounding penalties or pre-snap penalties or just kind of bogging down in the red zone. Now, it's crazy to say when you only score 16, but the offense actually did some good things in that game.
Yeah, and it's funny watching it in person. You're looking at it and you're like, man, we're not really playing well offensively. But going back and I always go back and watch the tape, because there's things that even though I'm on the sideline, yes, I do miss things because I'm walking up and down the sideline and trying to watch different things that go on within the game. On the sideline, on the bench with various players. So I go back and watch it. But when you look at it, talking to Caleb after the game, he said he played terrible. And you go back and watch the film, and I agree with what Coach Johnson came out and said this week. He actually played well. I saw him take some steps, and yes, he threw the untimely interception, which led to a Ravens, the critical situation, which put points on the board for the Ravens essentially. But I felt like he was decisive in a lot of his reads. He found, that relationship with him and Rome again, and in critical situations, he executed at certain times. So that is growth. So I guess you can take a win in terms of that aspect if you want to take that away from the game. But, yeah, offense didn't play that bad. But when you have penalties, when you're approaching the red zone and you're relying on field goals, especially on the road, you're not going to win games. Yeah.
With all the injuries on the Bears defense, how in the world are they going to stop Chase and the
Oh, man. I have no idea. Just looking at this team, there's so many weapons. Not just Jamar Chase, but you got Chase Brown, the other Chase. Yeah. You've got Samaje Perine. Both of those guys have been running the football extremely well, and I think the Bengals do a good job of mixing those two guys in. Noah Fant at tight ends had a productive day, and then you can't forget about the other receiver, T. Higgins, who can, generate a lot of explosive plays in the passing game. So, I don't know. I really don't. I know Joe Flacco. I know he didn't practice yesterday, but I know he has some type of injury. I think it's a shoulder they were talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope Jake Browning plays. He has 8 interceptions, and see how many games he played. But 4 games played, 8 interceptions. So let's hope he plays.
Is there anything you're seeing, just like from a scheme standpoint, that they might want to do differently when they get down in the red zone, where they keep bogging down a little bit?
You talking about offensively?
Yeah, offensively. Yes. Sorry for the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I just think they just got to clean up their mistakes. Yeah. I think there's plays there to be made, and they have opportunities. But you get down there, and it's, false start here, false start there. It's just tough. It's tough just to stay ahead of the chains. And like you said, when you're down in the red zone, especially on the road, everything's condensed, like all the way. Defense is condensed, the field's condensed, the fans feel like they're on top of you because everything's condensed and it gets louder down there. So you got to have elite execution and elite focus and poise if you want to put, touchdowns on the board. And, yeah, you can rely on field goals, but a lot of times, field goals, they're going to get you beat, especially on the road. Like when you're down in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns.
Right. So when you're down there, I think if you're more aggressive early and get the ball into the end zone, like when you get to the 18.
Yeah.
Take a couple shots down the field.
There.
The Bears, they grind a little bit in the offense. Mm-hmm. And, like I told you, it's 11 play and a 13-play drive for 61 and 64 yards. You're not getting any really big chunk plays in that grouping. usually.
Yeah.
But if you can get
No, you're
down
right.
inside the 20 when you still got a little bit of space and you still got some vertical space where you can make some plays, maybe take a couple of shots into the end zone because you haven't done it. Do
Yes,
something
I agree.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's one thing for the field to be condensed when you get down there, but you do condense it yourself with the play calling. And like you say, you're not taking those shots downfield, keeping the defense honest. And you're looking at the Bengals defense that has given up a ton of points.
Yeah.
I think they've given up like 27 points in like 7 straight games. Like, it's unbelievable. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities for an offense to, quote unquote, to kind of get right if you execute effectively.
How do you think the O-line has performed here since making a couple tweaks to this thing and just the way Theo Benedette has held up in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I feel like they're still doing well. I think they've been better in the run game. I think we didn't run the ball enough last week. I feel like we got away from it, but they've been doing okay. I know Theo Benedette struggled a little bit last week. I think he gave up the only sack of the game.
Yep.
But they've been progressing, and you're going to need, as a team, as a unit, with Caleb and all those other guys, you got to keep them guys encouraged. You got to keep them guys united as one and continue to hope they execute at a high level. They only gave them 1 sack last week, so that's a plus right there.
That's still like one thing where Caleb, you could see. I think you see some clear growth, Jason. That he's understanding the value of not taking those sacks. I think he even mentioned it this week at the podium. The importance of certainly not taking them on early downs if you're going to drop back and pass the ball. Like, they've drilled that home. His sack rate was way too high last year. It was around 11%. That's tough. I mean, he's cut that thing in half and then some. So if you want to talk about growth from the quarterback, I think that's one great area where he's, understanding the importance of not taking those negative plays.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like the internal clock of a quarterback, and Yurko knows this, right? Quarterback, you can't stay back there and moonlight like a mannequin with the football. There's only a certain amount of time that even the elite offensive lines can protect a quarterback in terms of pass protection. So I'm pretty sure Coach Johnson, does this at practice. All the elite coaches do. They have the quarterback on an internal clock in terms of their timing him in terms of when that ball snapped and when that ball should be out. And, it just goes back to we hear coaches talking about playing in rhythm, right? 3-step drop, ball out, playing in rhythm, understanding where your reads are, going through progressions, but also getting that football out. So I think last year, it's a rookie. We saw a rookie, Caleb Williams, last year that was trying to see guys open, and now we're starting to see a second-year quarterback in a good system with a great play caller actually throwing guys open.
Yeah. Jason, thanks as always, buddy. Safe travels this weekend to Cincinnati.